My beloved child, lean in and listen carefully, for what I am about to reveal is urgent, life-changing, and specifically meant for you. The winds of change are sweeping through. The ground beneath us is shifting, and unseen battles are unfolding like never before. You are not here by chance. I have chosen you for this moment to rise in faith, to be a light in the darkness, and to stand strong when the world feels unsteady. Stay with me until the very end, because every word I speak is a key to unlocking the wisdom and strength you'll need for the days ahead. This moment is critical, and the message I have for you could define your purpose in ways you never imagined. Don't turn away now. Your calling is closer than you think, and the breakthrough you've been waiting for begins right here, right now. Will you take this journey with me? Let's step into your destiny together. Listen closely, this message is vital. You nearly missed it, coming so close to letting this opportunity slip by. But I am here now, reaching out one more time before it's too late. Do not let this moment pass you by. Stay with me until the end and listen to every word carefully. You have been searching for something, haven't you? Perhaps you're not even sure what it is. You've looked everywhere through distractions, through people, through empty promises, yet something still feels missing. I'm here to tell you, you nearly missed the very thing you've been looking for. But I'm giving you another chance, right here, right now. My beloved, if you seek my blessings, speak to your needs in faith. Simply type, "Yes, I need," and open your heart to receive my grace. Life pulls you in a million directions, doesn't it? The noise of the world is incessant social media, peer pressure, and a relentless cycle of busyness. You've been swept up in that whirlwind, trying to keep pace, fit in, and find your place in the chaos. You almost missed the most important thing, my voice. I have been calling out to you, guiding you, yet you barely noticed. You were too distracted, too focused on the world. Now, I'm asking you stop what you're doing. Pay attention. Listen, because this might be the exact message you have needed all along. You have been searching, my child, but in all the wrong places. You've chased money, success, popularity, and approval, hoping they might fill the emptiness inside. But they haven't, have they? The truth is, they never will. What you nearly missed is this simple fact. Everything you've been looking for is here in me. I am the fulfillment of your deepest desires, the peace you crave, the love you need, and the purpose you've been longing for. You were so focused on everything else that you almost missed this truth. Keep watching until the end. There is more you need to hear. Every second matters, because something in this message will unlock the answers you've been searching for. I know you've heard similar words before. Maybe you think this message is no different than the others. But it is different. This moment is for you, and it's happening right now. You stand at a crossroads where your life is about to change for better or worse, depending on the choices you make after hearing this. I'm trying to tell you something that can transform your life completely, but you need to hear it all. Don't click away. Do not let your mind wander. Focus on these words, because this is not just another video or post, it is a lifeline. One thing you almost missed is how deeply and unconditionally loved you are. You've been searching for love and acceptance from others, trying to prove yourself, trying to be enough. But what you need to understand is you are enough. You are already loved more than you can imagine. If this message stirs your soul, my beloved, show your love by pressing the like button. You do not have to earn my love, be perfect, or hide your flaws. You do not have to pretend to be someone you're not. I love you exactly as you are. Every messy part, every mistake, every insecurity. I see it all, and I still love you. If you would only grasp the depth of my love, it would change everything. Do not miss this, my child. Let it sink in. You are loved, and that love is unchanging. Stay with me until the end, because this is just the beginning of what I have to share. Sometimes life becomes uncomfortable and it wakes you up. That restlessness you feel, that unsettled notion that something is off, that is me, gently shaking you, so you stop coasting along without truly living. You cannot continue in this manner. There is so much more for you than merely existing or getting by. I have a plan for your life, a purpose beyond anything you can imagine. But if you keep living on autopilot, you'll miss it. Wake up, my child. Open your eyes and heart to see what I'm offering. Do not miss this. Keep watching, for I'm about to show you the next step. Have you thought about giving up? Perhaps you told yourself, this is just how life is, and it's all I will ever be. Please understand that you were never meant to settle for less. I placed greatness within you, a calling, a destiny that is uniquely yours. Yet, the world has tried convincing you that you're unremarkable, pushing you to settle for mediocrity. My child, you are extraordinary. You almost missed the truth that you were created for so much more. I have set you apart for something special. Believe in yourself the way I believe in you. Do not settle. Do not abandon the dreams I planted in your heart. They are there for a reason. I know there have been times you've asked, why is this happening to me? You have endured pain, loss, and confusion. You nearly missed the point of it all. Listen, nothing you have gone through is wasted. Every tear, every struggle, every hardship has a purpose. I have been working in the background, weaving everything together for your good. The very things you thought would break, you have built you. The pain shaped you into the person you are meant to be. I know it has not been easy, but trust me, it is all part of the plan. Stay until the end, because you need to know your story is far from over. In all your struggles, you nearly missed the joy awaiting you. You've been so focused on what is lacking that you did not see the blessings coming your way. Good things are in store, my child. There is joy, peace, healing, and fulfillment ahead. You must trust me. Stay on course and do not give up. You nearly missed the good things I have planned because you were absorbed by the pain of the present. Please keep watching, because I'm about to reveal what happens next. These things, though alluring, cannot bear the weight of life's challenges. But when you root your life in the eternal promises of God, you build on a rock that cannot be moved. His promises are not subject to the whims of the world. They are steadfast and unchanging. God's word assures us that He will never leave us nor forsake us, that His plans are for our good, and that His love is unconditional and unwavering. These truths provide a foundation that can withstand any trial. When you anchor yourself in God's promises, your perspective shifts. The opinions of others lose their power to define you. The fear of failure diminishes because you know your worth is not tied to your achievements. Even when life doesn't go as planned, you find peace in the knowledge that God is in control, orchestrating every detail for your ultimate good. The beauty of God's promises is that they are not just a safety net. They're a launching pad. They empower you to dream bigger, to take bold steps of faith, and to face challenges with courage. When you know that your foundation is secure, you can navigate life's uncertainties with confidence, knowing that no storm can uproot what God has firmly established. Consider this. A tree with deep roots can weather the harshest conditions. The storms may bend its branches, but its roots hold firm, drawing strength from the soil. Similarly, when your life is rooted in God's promises, you can face setbacks and struggles without being shaken. Your faith becomes your anchor, and God's word becomes your compass, guiding you through every storm. Building on God's promises requires intentionality. It means choosing to prioritize what is eternal over what is temporary. It means spending time in His Word, reminding yourself of His truths, and aligning your life with His purpose. This foundation is not built overnight, but with every step of faith, every prayer, and every act of obedience, it it grows stronger. So ask yourself, what is my life built on? If the foundation is anything less than God's promises, it's time to rebuild. Let go of what is fleeting and anchor yourself in what is eternal. When the storms come, and they will, you will stand firm, unshaken, and victorious. Not because of your strength, but because of the unshakable foundation beneath you. Life's challenges often feel like unwelcome intruders, disrupting our plans and shaking our confidence. Yet, hidden within every trial is an opportunity, a chance to release self-reliance and embrace the infinite strength of God. It is in these moments, when our own abilities fall short, that we discover the power and grace of surrendering to Him. When life is smooth, it's easy to believe that we have everything under control. Success can breed a sense of self-sufficiency, making us feel invincible. But then, the unexpected strikes, a setback, a loss, a challenge beyond our capacity. These moments strip away our illusions of control, revealing the limits of our own strength. They remind us that we were never meant to carry life's burdens alone. Challenges are not punishments, they are invitations. They are God's way of calling us closer, whispering, "Let go of what you cannot control and trust me to handle what you cannot." When we face obstacles that seem insurmountable, it's a divine nudge to stop striving in our own strength and start leaning on His. Surrendering to God is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of faith. It takes courage to admit that we don't have all the answers and that we can't do it all on our own. But this surrender is the very thing that unlocks God's power in our lives. When we let go of self-reliance, we make room for His strength to flow through us. Think of a climber scaling a towering mountain. There comes a point where their own strength and skill are not enough to reach the summit. They must anchor themselves to something stronger, more stable, a rock that can bear their weight and keep them secure. In the same way, our challenges remind us to anchor ourselves to God, the unshakable rock of our salvation. God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. When we admit our need for Him, we open the door for Him to work miracles in our lives. He takes what we cannot handle and turns it into a testimony of His faithfulness. The burdens that once seemed overwhelming become stepping stones to a deeper relationship with Him. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means giving in to God's plans, His timing, and His power. It means waking up each day and saying, "Lord, I trust You. I don't see the way forward, but I know You do." It's in this trust that we find peace, even in the midst of chaos. Challenges, though painful, refine us. They strip away pride and self-sufficiency, leaving room for humility and faith to grow. They teach us to rely not on our limited abilities, but on the unlimited strength of God. So when you face trials, don't see them as barriers, but as bridges. Bridges that lead you closer to God's power, His love, and His purpose for your life. Let go of self-reliance and embrace the opportunity to lean fully on Him. In doing so, you'll discover that His strength is more than enough for every challenge you face. Faith is often misunderstood as the absence of fear, but the truth is far more profound. Faith doesn't eliminate fear. It empowers you to trust even in the face of uncertainty. It's the steady voice in the chaos whispering, "Keep going, you're not alone." Faith doesn't promise clarity, but it offers the strength to move forward without knowing the outcome. Fear is a natural response to the unknown. When life throws challenges your way, when the path ahead is unclear, or when the weight of uncertainty presses down on you, fear arises. It tells you to stop, to retreat, to stay safe. But faith steps in and says, "Take the next step. Trust the one who sees the end from the beginning." Faith isn't about silencing fear, but about choosing to act despite it. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast canyon, unable to see the bridge that connects one side to the other. Fear screams that the gap is too wide, too dangerous. Faith, however, reminds you that even if you can't see the bridge, it's there. It's the choice to step forward, trusting that God will catch you, guide you, and carry you through. The beauty of faith lies in its ability to coexist with fear. Faith doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't require you to have all the answers or be free of doubt. Instead, it asks you to trust God's character more than your circumstances. It's saying, I may not know what's next, but I know who holds my future. Some of the greatest stories of faith are not of people who were fearless, but of those who moved forward despite their fears. Think of David facing Goliath, a shepherd boy standing against a giant. Do you think he wasn't afraid? Of course he was. But his faith in God's power was greater than his fear of the giant. That's what faith does. It shifts your focus from the size of the problem to the greatness of God. Fear often feeds on the unknown, but faith thrives in the same space. When you release the need to control every detail, faith fills the void. It allows you to trust God's timing, His plan, and His provision, even when you don't understand. It's the quiet assurance that He's working behind the scenes, orchestrating everything for your good. In moments of fear, remind yourself of God's promises. He has said He will never leave you nor forsake you. He has promised to fight your battles, to provide for your needs, and to guide your steps. When fear creeps in, let these promises be your anchor, grounding you in the truth of who God is. Faith doesn't mean you won't feel afraid. It means you refuse to let fear dictate your actions. It's choosing to walk forward, not because the path is clear, but because you trust the one leading you. And as you take each step, you'll find that faith grows stronger, fear grows quieter, and God's presence becomes undeniable. Faith doesn't always require grand gestures or monumental steps. Often, it's the small, consistent acts of trust that open the door to life's greatest miracles. Each day, as you choose to place your trust in God, even in the smallest ways, you align yourself with His power and His promises. These moments of quiet faith may seem insignificant at the time, but they hold the potential to unlock blessings beyond anything you can imagine. Imagine planting a tiny seed in the soil. At first, it looks like nothing is happening. Days, weeks, or even months may pass without visible change. But beneath the surface, that seed is growing roots, anchoring itself deep in the ground. Then one day, seemingly out of nowhere, it breaks through the soil and blossoms into something magnificent. Your daily acts of faith are like that seed. Each prayer, each moment of trust, each decision to believe, when it's easier to doubt, is planting the foundation for something miraculous. Trusting God each day is a declaration that you believe in His goodness, even when circumstances seem bleak. It's waking up and saying, Lord, I may not have all the answers, but I trust that you do. I don't see the full picture, but I know you are at work. This kind of faith doesn't just move mountains. It moves the heart of God. Small acts of faith are powerful because they reflect a heart that is steadfast and unwavering. You may not feel strong every day. You may have moments of doubt or fear. But choosing to trust in those moments, even in the smallest ways, invites God to step in and do what only He can do. It's in those moments that He works behind the scenes, orchestrating blessings, breakthroughs, and miracles that you never saw coming. Consider the story of the widow who gave 2 small coins in the Bible. Her offering seemed insignificant compared to the larger contributions of others, but her faith was greater than her circumstances. Jesus saw her heart and declared that her small act of faith was worth more than all the others. This story reminds us that God isn't looking for perfection or grand displays. He's looking for a heart that trusts Him fully, no matter how small the act may seem. Every day is an opportunity to practice faith in the small things. It could be a prayer whispered in the quiet moments of your morning, a decision to trust God's timing when you're tempted to rush, or an act of kindness that reflects His love. These small, faithful actions create a ripple effect, leading to outcomes far beyond your control. Don't underestimate the power of trusting God in the little things. These moments of faith are not just preparing you for miracles. They are miracles in themselves. They shape your character, deepen your relationship with God, and position you to receive the blessings He has in store. As you go about your day, remember this. Faith doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. It doesn't have to be perfect to be effective. Trust God in the small, quiet ways, and watch as He turns those simple acts into extraordinary miracles that transform your life. Throughout history, the most extraordinary heroes of faith have emerged from the crucible of great challenges. Their stories remind us that trials are not the end. They are the beginning of something far greater. These individuals didn't achieve their victories by avoiding hardship. They embraced it, trusted God through it, and rose stronger on the other side. Take Joseph, for example. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers and later unjustly imprisoned. From the outside, his life seemed like a series of unfair setbacks. Yet, in every trial, Joseph chose to remain faithful. He trusted God's plan even when it was impossible to see how his circumstances could lead to anything good. And then, in a miraculous turn of events, Joseph was elevated to second in command in Egypt, saving countless lives during a devastating famine. His trials were the very path to his triumph. David, another hero of faith, faced years of adversity before he became king. As a young shepherd, he stood against Goliath, armed with nothing but a sling and unshakable faith in God. But even after this victory, David's journey wasn't easy. He spent years fleeing from King Saul, who sought to take his life. Despite the fear and uncertainty, David trusted God's promises. In time, he ascended to the throne, fulfilling the destiny God had prepared for him. And of course, there is the ultimate example, Jesus Christ. He endured rejection, betrayal, and the agony of the cross. At any moment, he could have called upon legions of angels to rescue him, but he chose to stay the course. Through his suffering came the greatest victory of all, resurrection and redemption for all humanity. His trials weren't a detour. They were the very means by which God's purpose was fulfilled. What these stories teach us is clear. The size of your challenge often reflects the size of your calling. Great faith is not built in comfort. It's forged in adversity. The trials you face are not a sign of failure, but of preparation. They are refining you, strengthening you, and positioning you for the purpose God has placed on your life. It's easy to feel overwhelmed in the midst of your struggles, to question why things seem so difficult. But remember this, you're not alone. The same God who walked with Joseph in the prison, who guided David in the wilderness, and who strengthened Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane is walking with you. He sees the bigger picture, and He is using every challenge to prepare you for something extraordinary. When the road gets tough, don't give up. Think of the heroes of faith who came before you. They faced giants, prisons, and crosses, yet they emerged victorious because they trusted God every step of the way. You're no different. Your trials are not the end. They are the proving ground for your destiny. Trust that God is with you, working through every challenge to lead you to a victory greater than you can imagine. Life is full of delays, moments when what we prayed for, worked toward, or dreamed of seems just out of reach. These delays can feel frustrating, even discouraging. But let this truth sink in. A delay is not a denial. It's not a no from God. It's a divine not yet. Delays are often tests of perseverance, shaping your character and preparing you for what's to come. Think of a sculptor working on a masterpiece. The process is slow and deliberate, each stroke purposeful. What looks like inactivity to an outsider is, in fact, progress. In the same way, delays in your life are not moments of stagnation. They are moments of preparation. God is working behind the scenes, aligning circumstances, growing your faith, and ensuring that when the blessing arrives, you are ready to receive it. The waiting period can feel like a wilderness. You might feel forgotten, as if your prayers are bouncing off the ceiling, unanswered. But let me remind you, God's silence is not his absence. The waiting is where some of the greatest growth happens. Just as a seed develops strong roots beneath the soil before it ever breaks the surface, your time of waiting is strengthening your foundation. Delays are not random. They are intentional. God uses them to test your trust and endurance. Will you hold on to his promises even when the answers seem far away? Will you continue to believe when the timeline doesn't match your expectations? Perseverance isn't just about enduring the wait. It's about maintaining hope and faith throughout it. Consider the story of Abraham and Sarah. They were promised a child, but the fulfillment of that promise didn't come for decades. The delay wasn't because God had forgotten them. It was because he was working out his plan in his perfect timing. Through their perseverance, they witnessed a miracle that has inspired generations. Or think of Joseph. After being sold into slavery and thrown into prison, he waited years before stepping into his destiny. Each delay felt like a setback, but in reality, it was positioning him for the exact moment when he would rise to power and fulfill God's plan for his life. What these stories teach us is that delays are often a sign that God is doing something greater than we can comprehend. The waiting period is not about testing your patience alone. It's about refining your character, deepening your trust, and aligning your heart with God's purpose. So how do you navigate these seasons of delay? By shifting your perspective. Instead of asking, why is this taking so long? Ask, what is God teaching me in this season? Instead of focusing on what you lack, focus on how God is preparing you. Every delay is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more aligned with his will. Delays are not the end of the story. They are the foundation of it. Trust that God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't align with yours. Keep pressing forward, holding on to faith, and believing that what he has for you is worth the wait. Your perseverance will not only lead to the blessing, but will also make you stronger, more faithful, and ready to carry the weight of God's favor. Every trial you endure, every obstacle you overcome, and every moment you choose faith over fear becomes a powerful story. One that has the potential to inspire and uplift others. Your resilience in the face of hardship isn't just about your growth. It's a testament to the strength and grace of God working in your life. When you stand firm in the storm, people take notice. They see not just your perseverance, but the unshakable foundation that sustains you. Your story becomes a beacon of hope for those who are struggling. A reminder that it's possible to overcome even the darkest seasons. Consider this. A lighthouse doesn't eliminate the storm, but it guides sailors through the chaos, offering light and direction. Similarly, your life, when rooted in faith, becomes a lighthouse for others. Your strength shows them that they too can weather their storms and find a way forward. The beauty of your story lies in its authenticity. People aren't inspired by perfection. They're moved by honesty, by seeing someone who faced real challenges, wrestled with doubt, and still chose to believe. Your struggles don't disqualify you. They equip you to connect with others on a deeper level. When you choose to trust God in the midst of uncertainty, your faith has a ripple effect. Your children watch and learn what it means to rely on God. Your friends and family see your determination and are encouraged in their own journeys. Even strangers can be impacted by your example. Think of the biblical figures who inspire us today. Joseph's perseverance through betrayal and imprisonment wasn't just for his benefit. It became a story that has encouraged countless generations. David's courage in facing Goliath wasn't just about winning a battle. It was a testament to faith in action that still speaks to us today. Your story has the same potential. Every tear you've cried, every prayer you've whispered, and every step of faith you've taken is part of a larger narrative. One that God is using to touch lives beyond your own. Standing firm doesn't mean you won't feel fear or doubt. It means you don't let those emotions dictate your actions. It's choosing to believe that God is greater than your circumstances and that He's working all things together for good. As you persevere, remember that your journey is not just about reaching the other side of the storm. It's about who you become in the process. And as you grow stronger, your story becomes a source of strength for others. So when the weight of the world feels overwhelming, know that your endurance matters. Your courage to keep going, to trust God, and to rise again inspires more people than you realize. You are living proof that faith triumphs over fear and that hope can shine even in the darkest moments. Your story is a gift. Share it boldly, live it fully, and let it be a testament to God's power and grace. You never know whose life will be transformed by the light you're shining. Adversity isn't something we naturally welcome. It's uncomfortable, it's challenging, and it often feels like a setback. But what if we shifted our perspective? What if, instead of seeing adversity as a punishment or a roadblock, we saw it as a tool that God uses to teach, shape, and prepare us for something far greater than we can imagine. Challenges are not random. They are intentional. God allows adversity in our lives not to harm us, but to refine us. Like a skilled craftsman chiseling away at a block of stone, He uses these moments to carve away the parts of us that don't align with His purpose. It's not always an easy process, but it's a necessary one. Adversity teaches lessons that comfort cannot. When life is smooth, we often rely on our own abilities. But in the storm, we are forced to lean on God. These are the moments when we truly learn who He is, our provider, our protector, our sustainer. Adversity strips away distractions and forces us to focus on what truly matters. It draws us closer to God and deepens our relationship with Him. Think of a piece of gold being refined. The heat of the fire is intense, but it's in that fire that impurities are burned away, leaving behind something pure and valuable. Similarly, adversity is the fire that refines our character. It reveals our weaknesses, but it also strengthens our resolve. It prepares us to handle the blessings and responsibilities that God has in store for us. Every trial you face is an opportunity for growth. It's a chance to develop qualities like patience, resilience, and humility. It's a chance to grow stronger in your faith and to align your heart with God's will. The discomfort of adversity is temporary, but the lessons it teaches are eternal. Even in the midst of hardship, God's purpose is at work. He sees the bigger picture, the one we can't yet fully understand. What feels like a delay or a detour is often the very thing that's preparing you for your destiny. God is not wasting your pain. He's using it to prepare you for something greater. So how do we embrace adversity as a tool for growth? By asking the right questions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is God trying to teach me?" Instead of focusing on the difficulty of the situation, focus on how it's shaping you into the person God created you to be. Adversity is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of transformation. It's the classroom where God teaches you to trust Him more deeply, to rely on His strength instead of your own, and to grow into the fullness of His purpose for your life. So the next time you face a challenge, remember, it's not there to break you. It's there to build you. Trust that God is using every difficulty as a tool to shape you, strengthen you, and prepare you for the extraordinary things He has planned for your future. Life's challenges often feel like unwelcome interruptions, roadblocks that slow us down or derail our plans. But hidden within each difficulty lies an opportunity for growth and transformation. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" what if you asked, "What is God teaching me through this?" That one question has the power to shift your perspective and unlock the purpose behind the pain. Every challenge is a classroom, and God is the ultimate teacher. He uses trials not to punish, but to refine us. The struggles you face are tools in His hands, shaping your character, building your faith, and preparing you for what lies ahead. The lesson may not be immediately clear, but rest assured, it is always there. Imagine a potter at work. The clay doesn't understand why it's being pressed, molded, and shaped. It doesn't know why it's placed into the fire. But the potter has a vision for what the clay will become, a masterpiece. Similarly, God uses the challenges in our lives to mold us into the people He created us to be. The pressure and heat are uncomfortable, but they are necessary for transformation. Asking, "What is God teaching me?" transforms adversity into an opportunity for growth. It turns the focus away from the problem and redirects it to the purpose. This question allows you to see challenges as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. It encourages you to look beyond the immediate discomfort and discover the lessons God is weaving into your story. Challenges often teach us patience. In a world that values instant results, waiting can feel unbearable. Yet, God uses delays to teach us to trust His timing. They remind us that His plans are far greater than anything we could imagine. He may not be working on our schedule, but He is always working for our good. Other times, challenges teach us resilience. When you face obstacles that seem insurmountable, you're given the chance to strengthen your faith muscles. Just as physical exercise builds endurance, spiritual challenges build the kind of faith that can weather any storm. Challenges can also teach us humility. They remind us of our limitations and point us back to the one who holds all power. When we reach the end of our own strength, we learn to lean on God's infinite strength. It's in those moments of surrender that His power is made perfect in our weakness. Whatever lesson God is teaching you through your struggles, know that it is always for your benefit. He doesn't waste pain. He repurposes it for growth, for strength, and for His glory. Each difficulty is a divine invitation to draw closer to Him, to trust Him more deeply, and to step into the fullness of His purpose for your life. So when the challenges come, and they will, pause and ask, "God, what are you teaching me through this?" Trust that He has a purpose for every trial and a lesson for every hardship. And as you learn, you'll find that even the most difficult seasons can lead to incredible transformation and blessings beyond your imagination. Challenges have a way of appearing when we least expect them, unsettling our plans and testing our limits. It's natural to feel fear when faced with the unknown. But what if we could see challenges not as obstacles to avoid, but as stepping stones to growth? By shifting our perspective, we can transform fear into faith and adversity into opportunity. Every great journey includes moments of difficulty. These are not random detours. They are deliberate parts of your path. Challenges are tools that God uses to prepare you, strengthen you, and propel you toward your purpose. When you stop seeing them as roadblocks and start viewing them as building blocks, you unlock their true power. Think of a staircase. Each step upward requires effort, but every step also brings you closer to your destination. Challenges work the same way. Each trial you face is a step that elevates you, shaping your character and increasing your capacity to handle what lies ahead. The climb may be steep, but the view from the top is worth it. Fear often magnifies the size of the challenges we face, making them seem insurmountable. But faith shrinks those challenges, reminding us that we don't face them alone. God is with us, guiding each step and using every struggle to grow us into the person He created us to be. When you trust that God has a purpose for every challenge, fear loses its grip and you gain the courage to move forward. The greatest growth often happens in the most uncomfortable moments. Just as muscles grow stronger through resistance, your spirit grows through trials. It's in the stretching, the pushing, and the persevering that you discover strength you didn't know you had. Challenges refine you, building patience, resilience, and trust. Consider the story of Peter walking on water. The storm was raging, and fear could have paralyzed him. But instead of focusing on the waves, Peter stepped out in faith. Though he faltered, that moment became a stepping stone, not only for his growth, but for others who witnessed his courage. Your challenges have the same potential. When you face them with faith, you inspire others to do the same. Instead of asking, "Why me?" when challenges arise, ask, "What's next?" This shift in mindset transforms adversity into anticipation. It reminds you that challenges are not there to defeat you. They are there to develop you. Every trial is an opportunity to climb higher, to grow stronger, and to trust God more deeply. The truth is, life will never be free of challenges, but how you choose to face them will define your journey. Will you let fear hold you back, or will you use challenges as a stepping stone to become all that God has called you to be? Next time a trial comes your way, remember this: God doesn't waste challenges. He uses them to elevate you, to prepare you, and to lead you closer to your destiny. Step boldly into the challenge, knowing it's not a setback. It's a step forward toward your greatest growth. Life is full of moments when doors close, unexpectedly, painfully, and sometimes abruptly. It's easy to see these moments as failures, to wonder what went wrong, or to feel as though an opportunity has been lost forever. But what if a closed door isn't the end? What if it's a divine redirection, guiding you to something far better than you could have imagined? God doesn't close doors without a purpose. When a door shuts, it's not to punish or deter you. It's to protect you or to prepare you for what's ahead. Sometimes, the very thing we're holding on to isn't aligned with God's plan for our lives. Out of His love and wisdom, He closes the door, not to deny us, but to lead us to something greater. Think of a parent pulling a child back from something dangerous. The child may not understand why they can't have what they want, but the parent sees what the child cannot. In the same way, God sees the bigger picture. He knows what lies ahead, and sometimes it means saying no to what we think we need so He can say yes to what is truly best for us. Closed doors often feel like rejection, but they are opportunities in disguise. They force us to pause, reflect, and trust that God is still in control. When one door closes, it's a chance to shift your focus from what was lost to what God is preparing. Dwelling on a closed door can blind you to the new doors God is opening right in front of you. Consider Joseph's story. He faced one closed door after another, sold into slavery, imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit. But each no was part of a greater yes. Those closed doors position him for a role that would save nations. His story reminds us that what feels like rejection in the moment is often redirection toward our purpose. It's natural to feel frustrated or even heartbroken when a door closes, but trust that God's timing and plan are perfect. He may be closing a door to protect you from a path that isn't meant for you, or he may be preparing you for a door that requires a stronger, wiser, and more faithful version of yourself. Letting go of what's behind you isn't easy, but it's necessary to move forward. Sometimes holding on to the wrong door keeps us from stepping into the right one. Trust that when God closes a door, He is aligning circumstances for your good. Closed doors are not failures. They are setups for something greater. They are reminders that God is actively involved in your life, guiding you toward His purpose. Instead of mourning the loss of what could have been, celebrate the opportunity to walk into what will be. When a door closes, lift your eyes to God and ask, "What's next?" Trust that He is leading you to a path far better than you could plan for yourself. And when the new door opens, you'll look back and see that every closed door was part of His perfect plan. In life, we often fixate on what's immediately in front of us, longing for opportunities we think will bring fulfillment or success. But God, in His infinite wisdom, sees far beyond what we can comprehend. He sees not just the present, but the future, the dangers and the blessings that lie ahead. When God closes a door, it's never without purpose. It's either to protect us from harm or to prepare us for something far greater. Imagine walking through a maze. From your perspective, it's impossible to see what lies around the next corner. But God has the aerial view. He sees the dead ends, the pitfalls, and the dangers we cannot anticipate. When He closes a door, it's because He's redirecting us away from paths that would lead to harm or delay His plan for our lives. It's not rejection, it's divine protection. Closed doors often save us from things we didn't even know we needed saving from. Maybe it's a relationship that seemed promising but wasn't rooted in love and truth. Perhaps it's a job opportunity that looked ideal but would have taken you away from your true calling. Or it could be a dream that, while good, was not aligned with the greater purpose God has for you. What feels like a loss in the moment is often a blessing in disguise. But God doesn't just close doors to protect us. He also uses them to prepare us. Sometimes we aren't ready for the opportunities we desire. God may need to refine our character, strengthen our faith, or build our resilience before opening the next door. Closed doors create space for growth, teaching us patience and trust as we wait for His perfect timing. Think of a child trying to grab something they aren't ready to handle. A loving parent will intervene, not out of anger, but out of care. Similarly, God closes doors because He knows we're not yet equipped to walk through them. He doesn't want us to step into something prematurely and risk losing what He has in store. When a door closes, it's easy to feel frustrated or question God's intentions. But remember, His ways are higher than ours, and His plans are always for our good. Trust that He is working behind the scenes, aligning circumstances and preparing your heart for what's next. Closed doors are not the end of the story. They're stepping stones in God's grand design. They are reminders of His love, His foresight, and His commitment to your well-being. Instead of resisting them, embrace them as part of His perfect plan. The next time a door closes, take a moment to thank God. Thank Him for the protection you may not yet understand and the preparation you cannot yet see. Trust that the one who sees the full picture is leading you to something better, something greater, and something perfectly aligned with His purpose for your life. Letting go is one of life's greatest challenges, It's also one of its most transformative acts. We often cling to things that feel familiar, relationships, dreams, habits, or even roles we've outgrown. But what if holding on is what's keeping us from stepping into the new and extraordinary things God has planned for us? Learning to release what no longer fits is not a loss. It's the first step toward receiving something greater. Life is full of seasons, and each season serves a purpose. The things that once nourished you, inspired you, or fit your life perfectly may no longer align with where God is leading you. Holding on to the past can feel safe, but it also keeps you tethered to a place you were never meant to stay. Growth requires movement, and movement often requires letting go. Think of a seed planted in the ground. Before it can grow into a tree, it must shed its outer shell. That shell once served a purpose, protecting the seed and helping it grow roots. But if the seed clings to that shell, it can never break through the soil and reach its full potential. Similarly, what once protected or supported you may now be limiting your growth. Letting go is not about forgetting the past. It's about recognizing that its purpose has been fulfilled. God often calls us to release the old so that we can make room for the new. Imagine trying to fill a cup that's already full. No matter how much you pour in, there's no space for anything more. In the same way, if your life is cluttered with things that no longer serve your purpose, you won't have room to receive the blessings and opportunities God is preparing for you. Letting go can be uncomfortable. It requires trust that God's plan is better than your own, that what He has ahead is worth the discomfort of releasing what's behind. It's in this act of surrender that you create space for transformation. Think of the Israelites leaving Egypt. They had to let go of the only life they had ever known, even though it was filled with hardship, to step into the freedom of the promised land. It wasn't easy. They faced uncertainty and fear, but by trusting God, they found something far greater than what they left behind. As you navigate the process of letting go, remind yourself that it's not about giving up, it's about growing up. It's about trusting that God is leading you towards something better, even if you can't see it yet. Every release is an act of faith, a declaration that you believe His promises are greater than your fears. So, take inventory of your life. Where are you holding on to that no longer serves your purpose? Acknowledge its role in your journey, and then, with courage and faith, release it. Trust that as you let go of the old, God will fill your hands with something new, something far greater than you ever imagined. Have you ever felt a deep, unshakable restlessness within your soul? It's not fear or anxiety, and it's not dissatisfaction with your life. It's something quieter but far more profound, a stirring that whispers, "You're meant for more." This feeling, though uncomfortable, is not random. It's a divine signal that you are in a season of transition, a time when God is preparing you to step into a new chapter. Restlessness is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something is changing. It's God's way of getting your attention, nudging you out of your comfort zone and positioning you for growth. Like a butterfly outgrowing its cocoon, this discomfort is a necessary part of the process. You're not being pushed away from something. You're being pulled towards something greater. When God stirs your spirit, it's because He is calling you higher. He's shifting your priorities, redirecting your focus, and aligning your life with His purpose. This inner unease often arises when you've outgrown your current season. It's as if God is whispering, "There's more for you, but you can't stay where you are." Think about a seed buried in the soil. Before it can sprout and grow, it must undergo transformation in the dark. It stretches, breaks apart, and pushes against the soil above it. The seed's restlessness isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of life. In the same way, your inner stirring is proof that God is at work, preparing you to break through and step into His plan. Restlessness often comes with uncertainty, and that's where faith becomes essential. When you feel that stirring, it's tempting to rush the process, to force clarity, or to resist the change. But God isn't asking you to have all the answers. He's asking you to trust Him. Trust that He sees the full picture, that His timing is perfect, and that He is leading you towards something far better than you can imagine. This season of transition is not just about stepping into something new. It's about letting go of what no longer aligns with where God is taking you. It's about shedding old habits, outdated mindsets, and even relationships that have fulfilled their purpose. This process can feel isolating at times, but it's in the quiet, in the stillness, that God does His greatest work. Embrace the restlessness as a gift. It's a reminder that God loves you too much to let you stay stagnant. He sees the potential in you, even when you don't see it yourself. He's calling you to grow, to evolve, and to step into the fullness of His purpose for your life. So when you feel that stirring in your spirit, don't ignore it. Lean into it. Ask God, what are you preparing me for? Trust that He is guiding you, even in the uncertainty. Restlessness is not a sign of confusion. It's a sign of transformation. It's the beginning of a journey towards something extraordinary, something only God can orchestrate. Comfort zones are safe, familiar, and predictable. They're the spaces where we feel in control, where nothing feels too risky or uncertain. But here's the truth. Nothing extraordinary ever happens in the comfort zone. God didn't create you for a life of complacency. He designed you for greatness, and to achieve that, He will lovingly push you beyond what feels comfortable and into the unknown, where His purpose for your life can fully unfold. Stepping out of your comfort zone can feel unsettling. It often begins with a nudge, an opportunity, a challenge, or a shift in circumstances that forces you to confront the limits of your current situation. You might resist, clinging to what feels safe. But God knows that growth doesn't happen without movement. Like a bird nudged from the nest, you must leave the familiar to learn how to soar. God doesn't push you out of your comfort zone to punish you or to test you unnecessarily. He does it because He sees your potential. He knows that within you lies untapped strength, hidden talents, and a capacity for impact far greater than you realize. But to access these, you have to leave behind the safety of what you know and trust Him to guide you into the unknown. Think of Moses. He was living a quiet life as a shepherd when God called him to lead an entire nation out of slavery. Moses was terrified, convinced he wasn't qualified. But God didn't let Moses' fears hold him back. Instead, He gave Moses the courage and tools to step into his calling. It wasn't comfortable, but it was necessary, and it led to a purpose far greater than Moses could have imagined. Leaving your comfort zone requires faith, not in your own abilities, but in God's. It's about trusting that He has equipped you with everything you need and that He will provide for every step of the journey. It's recognizing that while you may feel inadequate, God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. This process often feels like a stretch, but that's exactly the point. Stretching builds resilience, strengthens character, and prepares you for the weight of the purpose God has placed on your life. Each time you step out in faith, you grow a little stronger, a little bolder, and a little closer to the person God created you to be. The unknown is intimidating, but it's also where miracles happen. It's where you discover that God's plans are bigger than your fears and that His power is greater than your limitations. It's where you realize that stepping out in faith isn't just about achieving something. It's about becoming someone. So when God pushes you out of your comfort zone, don't resist. Embrace it as an invitation to grow, to trust, and to step into the extraordinary purpose He has for your life. Remember, God doesn't call the equipped, He equips the called. And when you step out of your comfort zone, you step into His purpose, His power, and His promises. Growth often requires a difficult but necessary choice, letting go of the old to make room for something better. This process isn't easy. It asks you to release what's familiar, comfortable, and known. But just as a gardener prunes a tree to encourage new growth, God invites you to let go of what no longer serves His purpose for your life, so He can usher in something greater. Think of it like clearing out a cluttered room. At first, it's hard to part with things you've held on to for years. You might tell yourself they still have value or that you'll need them someday. But as you remove what no longer fits or has outlived its purpose, you create space for something fresh, something new. The same is true for your life. You can't fully embrace the new things God has planned for you if your hands are still gripping the past. Letting go doesn't mean dismissing the past or minimizing its significance. It means acknowledging its role in your journey and recognizing when its season has ended. There are habits, relationships, dreams, and even mindsets that were essential for one chapter of your life, but may not align with where God is taking you next. Holding on to them isn't just unnecessary, it can hold you back. The process of release can be painful because it often comes with uncertainty. You might wonder, what if I don't find anything better? Or what if I'm making a mistake? But this is where trust comes in. God doesn't ask you to let go without a purpose. He sees what you cannot and knows what's on the other side of your obedience. When you release what's in your hands, you make room for Him to place something far greater in them. Consider the story of Ruth. After losing her husband, she faced a choice: remain in the familiarity of Moab or step into the unknown by following her mother-in-law, Naomi, to a new land. By letting go of the past, Ruth made space for a future filled with purpose and blessing, a lineage that would lead to King David and ultimately to Jesus Christ. God's plans for your life are always good, but they often require you to step out of your comfort zone and into faith. Letting go is an act of trust, a declaration that you believe His promises are better than your fears. It's saying, Lord, I don't know what's next, but I trust You enough to make room for it. This process also creates opportunities for growth. By releasing old habits, you can cultivate new ones that align with God's purpose. By letting go of relationships that no longer nurture you, you create space for connections that uplift and inspire. And by surrendering outdated dreams, you open yourself to the greater plans God has for your life. So don't fear the act of letting go. Embrace it as a step of faith, a preparation for the incredible blessings ahead. Trust that God's new is always better than what you're leaving behind. And as you release the old, watch how He fills your life with peace, purpose, and abundance beyond anything you could imagine. Resistance has a way of showing up when you're on the verge of something great. It's that extra pushback, that unexpected obstacle, or that overwhelming sense of doubt that seems to come out of nowhere. But here's the truth: the stronger the resistance, the closer you are to your breakthrough. Resistance isn't a sign that you're failing. It's often a signal that you're on the brink of stepping into something extraordinary. Think of resistance as the final test before the reward. Just like a runner feels the burn in their muscles as they near the finish line, you may feel the weight of challenges intensify as you approach a significant milestone. This isn't meant to discourage you. It's meant to refine you. Resistance builds the strength, endurance, and resilience you need to carry the blessings that lie ahead. The enemy doesn't waste time on those who aren't a threat. If you're facing fierce resistance, it's because you're moving closer to fulfilling your purpose. The opposition isn't proof that you're on the wrong path. It's confirmation that you're headed in the right direction. The closer you get to breaking through, the harder the enemy will fight to keep you from it. But take heart. His resistance is no match for God's power. Consider the story of David facing Goliath. The resistance David encountered wasn't just the giant in front of him. It was the doubts of those around him, the ridicule from his enemies, and the weight of his own inexperience. But David didn't let resistance stop him. Instead, he leaned on his faith and stepped forward, knowing that the battle wasn't his alone, it was God's. The result? A victory that changed the course of history. The same principle applies to you. The resistance you're facing may feel overwhelming, but it's not there to defeat you. It's there to develop you. Each challenge strengthens your faith, sharpens your focus, and prepares you for the blessings on the other side. Without resistance, there's no growth. Without struggle, there's no triumph. When you feel resistance, don't retreat. Lean in, pray harder, trust deeper. Remind yourself that every great breakthrough in history was preceded by a season of intense struggle. It's in the moments when you feel like giving up that you must press on, knowing that the resistance is temporary, but the breakthrough will last forever. Resistance also forces you to clarify your purpose. It pushes you to dig deeper, to ask yourself why you started this journey, and to reaffirm your commitment to seeing it through. It strips away distractions and builds unshakable determination. So when resistance comes, and it will, stand firm. Know that it's not a sign of failure, but a precursor to victory. The stronger the resistance, the closer you are to stepping into the fullness of God's plan for your life. Keep moving forward and watch as what once seemed impossible becomes your greatest testimony. Challenges are an inevitable part of life. They come in many forms: unexpected setbacks, personal struggles, or moments of uncertainty. While they can feel overwhelming, it's important to remember that challenges don't exist to break you. Instead, they're tools God uses to shape you, strengthen you, and deepen your faith. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow. Just as muscles are built through resistance, perseverance is forged through adversity. It's in the moments when you feel stretched beyond your limits that you discover the depth of your strength and the steadfastness of your faith. Challenges aren't obstacles meant to stop you. They're stepping stones preparing you for something greater. Think of a diamond. It begins as a piece of coal, dark and ordinary, but under immense pressure, it transforms into something brilliant and valuable. Similarly, the pressures of life refine us, chiseling away our fears, doubts, and insecurities to reveal the strength and faith within. The process isn't easy, but the result is worth it. Challenges teach perseverance by forcing you to keep going even when the path is unclear. They push you to trust in God's timing and plan, even when answers seem far away. Each time you press forward in the face of adversity, you're not just surviving. You're building a resilience that will carry you through future storms. Faith is not forged in moments of ease, but in the crucible of trials. When life is smooth, it's easy to trust in your own abilities. But when the ground beneath you shifts, when the answers aren't clear, and when the outcome is uncertain, that's when faith comes alive. It's choosing to believe in God's promises even when you can't see the way forward. Consider the story of Job. He faced unimaginable challenges, loss, heartbreak, and despair. Yet through it all, he remained faithful, trusting that God had a purpose for his pain. Job's story reminds us that challenges don't define us. How we respond to them does. They are opportunities to show unwavering faith in a God who never abandons us. Challenges also teach us to rely on God. They remind us that we are not in control, but we are never alone. When you feel weak, God's strength sustains you. When you feel lost, His guidance lights the way. Every challenge is an invitation to deepen your trust in Him and to experience His faithfulness in new and profound ways. So, the next time you face a challenge, don't see it as a setback. See it as a setup for growth. Embrace it as an opportunity to build perseverance and strengthen your faith. Trust that God is using every trial to prepare you for the blessings ahead. Remember, challenges don't come to destroy you. They come to develop you. They are shaping you into the person God created you to be, equipping you with the faith and resilience to walk boldly into your purpose. Stand firm, press on, and know that with each challenge, you're growing stronger and stepping closer to the life God has planned for you. Have you ever wondered why life's challenges seem so relentless? Why the opposition feels so personal and overwhelming? Here's the truth. The enemy doesn't waste time attacking what has no value. You are a target because you carry extraordinary potential. The very trials you face are a testament to the greatness within you and the purpose God has placed on your life. Think about it. Thieves don't break into empty houses. They go after treasures. In the same way, the enemy sees the gifts, talents, and purpose God has entrusted to you, and he works to distract, discourage, and derail you before you can fully realize them. The intensity of the attack is a reflection of the magnitude of your calling. The enemy knows that if you step into your God-given potential, you will become a force for good, a beacon of hope, and a vessel of change. His goal is to keep you from reaching that place. But here's the good news. The attacks are not a sign of your defeat. They are confirmation of your value. They are proof that you are on the right path, moving towards something extraordinary. Consider the story of Jesus in the wilderness. Before his public ministry began, he was led into the desert, where the enemy tested him relentlessly. Why? Because the enemy knew the impact Jesus would have. He tried to stop him before his purpose could unfold. But Jesus stood firm, using God's word to resist every attack. His victory in the wilderness paved the way for a ministry that would change the world. The same principle applies to your life. The greater the resistance, the greater the purpose. The enemy targets you not because you are weak, but because you are strong. Not because you are unworthy, but because you are chosen. He sees the potential for you to impact others, to glorify God, and to fulfill your calling. And he fears it. So how do you fight back? By remembering who you are and whose you are. You are a child of God, equipped with his strength, surrounded by his protection, and guided by his spirit. The enemy may try to shake your confidence, but he cannot take away the identity and purpose God has given you. When the attacks come, stand firm in faith. Use God's word as your weapon, just as Jesus did. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you, who remind you of the greatness within you. And most importantly, trust that God is with you in every battle, fighting on your behalf. The enemy's attacks are not a reflection of your weakness. They are proof of your worth. They reveal the incredible potential God has placed within you and the powerful impact you are meant to have. Instead of letting the opposition discourage you, let it fuel your determination. You are not just surviving these attacks, you're growing stronger because of them. Trust that God is using even the enemy's schemes to prepare you for something greater. You are destined for impact, purpose, and victory. Keep moving forward, knowing that the attacks you face are simply a reflection of the remarkable future God has in store for you. Life sometimes brings us into seasons of stillness, moments when progress feels slow, opportunities seem scarce, and prayers go unanswered. In these quiet times, it's easy to mistake stillness for stagnation, to believe that nothing is happening, or worse, that God has forgotten you. But here's the truth. Divine stillness is not inactivity. It's intentional preparation. It's the sacred space where God is working behind the scenes, shaping you for something far greater than you can imagine. Think of a seed buried in the ground. To the outside world, it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the soil, a miraculous process is unfolding. Roots are forming, anchoring the seed deeply so that when it finally breaks through the surface, it can stand strong and thrive. Your season of stillness is just like that. It's a time for your spiritual roots to grow deeper, preparing you for the weight of the blessings and purpose God has in store. God uses stillness to refine us. In the busyness of life, it's easy to focus on outward achievements, to chase after goals and accolades. But in the quiet, God turns our attention inward. He works on our hearts, teaching us patience, humility, and trust. He removes distractions and aligns our priorities with His. What feels like a delay is often God's way of ensuring we are ready to step into the next chapter of our journey. Consider the story of Joseph. After being sold into slavery and unjustly imprisoned, he spent years in a state of apparent stillness. But during that time, God was preparing him, teaching him leadership, building his character, and positioning him for a destiny that would save nations. Joseph's stillness wasn't a setback. It was a setup for greatness. In your own life, the season of stillness is not about waiting idly. It's about waiting purposefully. It's about leaning into God, seeking His wisdom, and trusting His timing. Stillness is where faith is tested and strengthened. It's where you learn to rely not on your own understanding, but on God's infinite wisdom. This time of preparation also creates space for healing. Perhaps there are wounds, fears, or doubts that need to be addressed before you can fully embrace what's ahead. In the stillness, God gently works on those areas, restoring and renewing you so that you're ready for the next season. Stillness is also a reminder of who is in control. It shifts the focus from what you could do to what God is doing. It's a time to surrender, to trust that even when you can't see progress, God is orchestrating everything for your good. So embrace the stillness. Don't rush it or resist it. Instead, ask God, what are you teaching me in this season? How are you preparing me? Trust that the same God who brought you into this quiet season will lead you out of it, stronger, wiser, and ready to walk into the greatness He has planned. Stillness is not a pause. It's a process. It's not a delay. It's a divine design. Trust in it, grow in it, and know that on the other side of this stillness lies something extraordinary. Silence can be uncomfortable. Silence can be uncomfortable. It often feels like emptiness, like a void where progress or answers should be. But in the stillness, there is profound potential. Silence is not a sign of God's absence. It is an invitation to draw closer to Him. It's a sacred space where you can seek His guidance, strengthen your faith, and allow Him to heal the wounds you've been carrying. In the quiet, God's voice becomes clearer. Life's noise and distractions often drown out His whispers, but in the stillness, you have the chance to truly listen. It's in these moments that you can ask, Lord, what is your will for me? Where are you leading me? And as you seek Him, you'll find that He is always ready to guide you. His plans are never random, and His direction is always purposeful. The silence isn't meant to confuse you. It's meant to align your heart with His. Stillness is also an opportunity to strengthen your faith. When answers don't come immediately, it's tempting to doubt or to feel forgotten. But faith is not about seeing the whole picture. It's about trusting the one who does. Choosing to lean into God during silent seasons is an act of faith that builds spiritual resilience. It's saying, Lord, I may not understand, but I trust that you are working all things together for my good. Underscore. Healing in the stillness. In the quiet, God also works on your heart. He gently uncovers the areas where healing is needed. The wounds of disappointment, betrayal, or fear that you've tried to bury. These hidden hurts may not be visible to others, but they weigh you down. God doesn't want you to carry them into the future He has planned for you. In the stillness, He invites you to bring those burdens to Him. Healing is a process, and it requires vulnerability. It means allowing God to touch the tender places of your heart, to bring light into the darkness, and to restore what's been broken. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. The healing that happens in the quiet equips you for the journey ahead, freeing you from the chains of the past so you can step boldly into the future. The silence is not empty. It's full of possibility. It's a time for reflection, for prayer, and for growing closer to the one who holds your life in His hands. As you seek His guidance, strengthen your faith, and embrace His healing, you'll find that the stillness becomes a source of strength, not fear. So, don't fear the silence. Lean into it. Ask God to reveal what needs to be refined, restored, or redirected. Trust that He is using this time to prepare you, to heal you, and to guide you toward His purpose. The silence is not a void. It's a holy pause where transformation begins. In these moments, let your faith grow deeper, your spirit grow stronger, and your heart find peace in the healing hands of God. When the silence ends, you'll step into the next season with clarity, purpose, and a renewed sense of His presence. Silence is not a disruption, it's an invitation. In the fast-paced rhythm of life, silence can feel like an interruption, an unwelcome pause. But in God's design, silence is not a disruption, it's an invitation. It's a sacred opportunity to hear His voice more clearly and to ready yourself for the next chapter He is preparing for you. When life grows noisy, it's easy to miss the whispers of God. His guidance often comes not in the roar of the crowd, but in the still, quiet moments. Silence is His way of drawing you closer, asking you to pause, listen, and align your heart with His purpose. It's in these moments that you can truly hear Him, free from distractions and worldly chaos. Think of Elijah on the mountain. God's voice wasn't in the powerful wind, the earthquake, or the fire. It was in the gentle whisper. Similarly, in your own life, God's call often comes during times of stillness. These moments are not empty. They are filled with His presence, waiting for you to listen and respond. Silence also offers a unique opportunity for preparation. God doesn't call you into a new chapter without equipping you for it first. Just as a potter takes time to shape clay into a vessel, God uses seasons of stillness to mold your character, strengthen your faith, and refine your purpose. The pause is not wasted, it's purposeful. In this space, you can ask important questions. Lord, what are you calling me to do? What I need to let go of? How can I better align with your will? The power of silence and preparation. The answers may not come all at once, but the act of seeking positions you to receive His guidance and wisdom. Preparation often involves introspection and surrender. Silence allows you to reflect on what's holding you back, old habits, fears, or doubts, and to release those things to God. It's a time to declutter your heart and mind, making room for the new blessings and responsibilities He is preparing for you. Consider Jesus' time in the wilderness. Before beginning His public ministry, He spent 40 days in solitude, fasting, praying, and preparing. That season of silence wasn't a delay. It was essential preparation for the extraordinary work ahead. In the same way, God uses quiet seasons in your life to ready you for what's next. Silence is also a time for strengthening your relationship with God. In the stillness, you could draw nearer to Him, immersing yourself in His Word and His presence. This intimacy builds a foundation of trust and faith that will sustain you through both challenges and victories in the new chapter ahead. As you navigate the silence, remember this: God is not idle, and neither are you. He is working in you and through you, shaping you for His purpose. The stillness is not a pause in your story. It's the prologue to something greater. Embrace the silence as a gift. Use it to listen for His voice, to prepare your heart, and to align yourself with His plan. When the time comes, you'll step into the new chapter with confidence, clarity, and a deeper understanding of His purpose for your life. Walking in God's favor. As you journey through life's challenges, seasons of silence, and moments of resistance, remember this: every step is leading you closer to God's favor. The destination may seem distant, but the path you're walking is purposeful. God is not only preparing you for the blessings ahead, He's preparing the blessings for you. Favor isn't about instant success or a life free from struggles. It's about walking in alignment with God's will, trusting that His plans are far greater than your own. It's about understanding that every trial is a tool. Every delay is a divine setup. Every closed door is a redirection towards something better. The favor of God transforms you, strengthens you, and equips you to be a light in a world that desperately needs hope. When you embrace the process, trusting God in the silence, leaning on Him in the resistance, and letting go of what no longer fits, you position yourself to receive His favor. This favor doesn't just bless you, it overflows, impacting those around you and inspiring others to seek the same faith and hope you have found. So, as you move forward, hold tightly to this truth. God's favor is worth every struggle, every test, and every act of surrender. You are on a journey of transformation, walking toward a destiny greater than you can imagine. Step boldly into the life God is calling you to. Trust the process, celebrate the progress, and know that His favor will meet you at the perfect time. Your story is unfolding beautifully, and the destination is a life filled with purpose, peace, and the extraordinary blessing of God's favor. It is my love that surrounds you, giving you the strength to overcome all things. Remember that darkness cannot overcome light, and my light remains with you, shining bright in your path, even through the deepest gloom. Now is the time for you to rise up. Do not doubt my words or waver in your faith. Never think I am unaware of your pain or unresponsive to your prayers. I have heard the quietest whispers of your heart and seen you reach out to me in sorrow. Take comfort in knowing you are never forgotten, always loved, always cared for. In these challenging times, believe that I am with you. The shadows of suffering and uncertainty will not overtake you, for I will guide your every step. I ask only that you trust in me, and in return, I promise to give you the strength to lead our people through any hindrance. My beloved, come and join this community of faith by subscribing, where you will find messages that uplift your spirit and fill your heart with hope. You are never alone in any struggle, for my unconditional love remains by your side, even when you feel no one else cares. Walk boldly into your battles, head held high, knowing I am there, orchestrating circumstances in your favor. I see the fears stirring within, the doubts clouding your mind, and the anxieties weighing on you. Trust in me to be your rock, your courage in trials, and the light that illuminates your life. My child, life unfolds in seasons, moments of highs and lows, and each phase, no matter how difficult, carries a purpose. Often, your trials are hidden opportunities meant for your spiritual growth, which is why your faith in me is so vital. It allows your soul to blossom with trust, drawing you closer to the rest and peace you yearn for. When the darkness of despair looms and clouds your vision, remember that my presence is the light that penetrates even the deepest night. It is time for you to take a bold step of faith, learning to rely entirely on me. Fear not to trust or to release the burdens that weigh so heavily on your heart. Move forward with confidence, for I am always by your side, lifting your burdens and brightening your path. Surrendering your cares is a profound act of trust, welcoming my love to refresh and renew every part of your being. Depending on me is not weakness, it is a brave declaration that you walk in the grace that carries and prospers you. Remain on this journey of faith, recalling that I am shaping something beautiful in your life, an artwork formed with careful detail. Though the obstacles may seem insurmountable, each one is wrapped in my divine purpose. Nothing in your life is accidental. I am deeply involved in every detail, orchestrating blessings beyond what you can imagine. When situations spiral beyond your grasp, do not panic. Keep trusting, remain hopeful, and be patient. Every moment of waiting has a reason, be it growth, a vital lesson, or preparation for what lies ahead. Trust in my timing, which is always perfect, unfolding the magnificent design I have for you. Keep your eyes lifted heavenward, with hope burning like a guiding flame within your heart. Even when challenges feel overwhelming, remember that you are loved beyond measure, and that in me, you have a refuge, a place to lay down your burdens. Keep moving forward. The trials you currently face are only preludes to the remarkable blessings heading your way. Do not be afraid, nor let darkness sway you. Rest in me alone, laying upon me every care and worry. I am the way, the truth, and the life. With each step you take, I guide you onward, holding your hand. Put your trust fully in me, and you will see your ability to conquer any obstacle. In moments of sorrow, look to the sky. Do not hide your tears from me, for I see every pain upon your heart. You are enfolded in my eternal arms. Do not fear, for I am with you to lift you up, to wash away your failures, and to restore your life. I come offering the comfort and love you so greatly need. Let your tears flow, feeling my genuine embrace around you, sensing my deep affection. I long to erase your suffering forever. I understand the great trials you have endured, they have not gone unnoticed. I have heard your loud pleas, and even the silent cries buried within your tears have touched my heart. I understand everything about your struggles and feelings. You may seem small, but remember my words brimming with love. You are more precious than anything in this world, and for you was made the greatest sacrifice in love. Through my sacrifice, I cleanse you of guilt and release you from regret so that your suffering could end. Those who look down on you are grievously mistaken. Hand me your anger, sadness, and frustration, every weight heavy on your heart. It is time to forgive yourself, my child, for I have already forgiven you. Allow peace to enter your heart. Hand me your burdens, I have already blotted out your mistakes, and you need carry them no longer. I love you so dearly and want you to live a triumphant life. Listen to my loving counsel. Rise up today with a heart made new. I give you the vision to see you have countless reasons to be genuinely thankful. The more your eyes open to my blessings, the more you will find reasons to praise. Your worship is a song echoing in heaven, and it opens the gates to abundant blessing, health, prosperity, and genuine well-being. Precious child, share this message with someone who needs my love. Let your kindness be a vessel of my grace. Take my hand, I hold you in utmost affection. No power on earth can keep my blessings from reaching you. I cover you with my divine protection and place my shield in your hands. My warrior angels stand ready to guard you from all harm. Your future is safe in my hands. Trust in my almighty, sovereign presence. My love for you is eternal, limitless. With patient, gentle care, I will fulfill my purpose in your life. Promise me you will trust my love, letting go of the hurt caused by idle gossip or harsh words. The wind will carry them away, and tomorrow you will awaken free from the pain they once caused. Depression will not be able to bind you when you revel in my love, having opened your heart to me and closed your soul's ears to the murmurs of those who attempt to control your life. Be filled with courage and confidence, knowing how deeply you are cherished by me. Do not let the opinions of others sway you. Before giving weight to their words, remember that I know you inside and out. I see the kindness of your heart, and I have a special purpose for you. You are surrounded by family and friends who love and support you in many ways. Treasure that time. Seek me, serve me, and relish moments with those you hold dear. There is no need to spend precious time on anyone who would not do the same for you. People may assume you stand unguarded, and words can wound, but do not let them. Avoid slander and lies. Focus instead on my word, on growing, and on bringing joy to those you love. Remember, there are many standing by you through good and bad times. There are also those in desperate need of you, and I will use you to be a blessing in your community, a model of justice and honesty. You will show them my way, so they too may walk in it. That is why I raise you up to encourage you, empower you, and enable you to bless others. Through your actions, I will display miracles. So promise me, you will not fear any circumstance or person. Begin this new week by holding my hand and letting hope fill your heart. May the coming days hold no room for sadness or fear. Let my word be your standard, my spirit your seal, and my presence your constant companion. Angels march with you. Heavenly hosts guard your footsteps, keeping the adversary at bay. You live in a new dispensation. You are changed, no longer haunted by the ghosts of defeat. With a repentant heart, you came before me, and in my great mercy, I lifted you out of despair. Trust in my assurance with all your confidence. There is nothing for you to fear. No curse or penalty holds power over you. Doubt alone holds you back, but I know you have faith in me. Let my promises be the bedrock of your belief. Feed on them, and let your mind be filled with spiritual songs and psalms. Be assured that every week is 7 days of both challenges and opportunities for great blessings. Do not fear, for I am with you. Let no dread or despair take hold. Through me, you can conquer all evil, for in me, you will find the strength to do everything. Should your spirit grow weary and your strength falter, remember who I am, your shepherd, your friend, your protector, your king, your Lord, your advocate, defender, warrior, life, truth, and way. I am everything you need to resist, to overcome, to rise each morning in overflowing faith and joy, and to dream big, confident that I, your all-powerful God, am forever by your side. Amen. Draw near, my child, and listen well, for this is personal between you and me. I have seen your inner storm, your spirit tossing on waves of disappointment over hopes delayed, the ache of expectancy that slides into frustration. Yet even now, a steadfast spark of faith endures small but unwavering, awaiting its fulfillment. What I now bestow is the cure for sleepless nights and the color to replace drab days. Give me your ears, and let this truth realign your thinking. You do not realize how brief your time in this world is. You dwell on the things you can see, on what you believe is not happening, rather than recognizing the true power of my reign. I'm always ready to bring justice, no matter how thickly unfairness veils my intentions. Consider Lazarus what suffering he knew in those 4 days cloaked by darkness. It was only a prelude to the revelation of my glory, to the display of my power that conquered death. So too do I decree on your behalf delay and indecision shall soon give way to my radiant light. This deliverance, signed by my own hand, is planned to unfold before you. No one else could have orchestrated these wonders that now stand on the brink of appearing. I speak to you plainly and lovingly, for we have reached a pivotal moment. Many wondrous events approach. I, the creator of all that exists, assure you in deep love you have a special mission, and the very fact that you are here to hear these words proves it. I speak directly to you, the one who doubts or grows impatient, someone I have known since before birth, when you were still a secret. Yes, my child, know that nothing in your life escapes my notice or concern. I urge you now, while the stormy winds swirl around you, to pay attention to wisdom. My reign and rule should not be judged by these whirlwinds of turmoil. There is a realignment taking place. Though you cannot yet see it, it will shift your path toward a far different outcome than you fear born on the current of my throne room. Glance back through history, and you will see how chaos so often precedes a sweeping new harmony, a turning point that crushes evil with an outpouring of good. Words cannot describe how deeply I long to express my presence through you. My heart of compassion and my hands of righteous justice are here. I call for your active cooperation while also hoping that your despair may yield to a crucial, faith-filled trust. Recognizing my holy signature requires clarity of vision, free from skepticism. Ask yourself, why would those close to me, yet lacking comprehension of the hatred that opposes all I love, remain unfulfilled in spirit? Why would bravery diminish among those related to me? Let me speak plainly of both realms, the temporal scene, with its reckless outbursts of cruelty, and the eternal domain, in which I set wrongs right with unwavering power. I warn you gently, yet firmly, do not let yourself be dragged away by lawlessness, or mistake the turmoil as a sign of my absence or lack of power. Since the dawn of fallen time, no catastrophe or period of calamity has undone my covenant or my love. My covenant with you stands unbroken. My promises remain bright even in the darkest ages, when evil seemed to reign on every side. Morning has always come, bearing a drop of mercy for the merciless and forgiveness for the sinner. It is no different now. Beyond what is visible and beyond mortal reach, my vast design continues unhindered. Its culmination will be preceded by signs heralding my work of deliverance. Let this fact sink deep into you and stir the aroma of hope in your bones. All I love shares a single destiny, victory and vindication, restoration and reward, grace upon grace until not a trace of injustice remains. Take hold of how determined I am to step in and shatter the strongholds paralyzing the land. Cling to this truth, my dear one. No human system propping up organized evil can withstand a righteous weapons emanating from my throne. Have I not promised through my prophets that a day is coming when perfect justice will cast out wrongdoing and wise governance will replace greed with shared prosperity? Tyranny is staggering in its final death throes. Though its dying convulsions of injustice still shake the world, they will weaken and ultimately collapse beneath the rising tide that lifts the oppressed into freedom and light. If my voice has touched your heart today, child, share your love by tapping like. Thus, I render my judgment on societies torn asunder by greed and inflamed by hearts devoid of moral integrity, those who have rejected my way, my truth, and my life. When you witness the signs of hunger, the abuse of power, withering souls, and eyes brimming with hatred, recognize that the end of an age nears. Yet, at such an end, mercy and strength unite to renew all things in holiness. Behold, even amid this spreading chaos, my sacred realignment draws near. My breath will blow away the foundations of evil, and a cleansing wind will clear the air of pollution. Righteousness will resurface over the rubble, eliminating this disease and condemning all that destroys faith and family. I say to you, the right time is at hand. Be prepared for the wave of change coming to devastated areas, bringing healing and a reconstruction guided by steadfast love. Trust that the limits of deprivation and lack in your life extend only as far as my rule allows. Your desperate cries do not echo into a void of divine neglect, nor do angels merely wait idly while the chosen remain bound. Rather, my command keeps their swords sheathed until the moment I decide to set everything right. Then a swift transformation will descend. Noble forces will roam the earth to liberate and defend those under my protection. Renewal lies just ahead, a life-giving light driving out darkness, streams in the desert, and blossoms unfolding in parched wastelands. You will rejoice in the glory of that vision, a radiant display of splendor that crowns your future with beauty. Now, listen for this final truth, which can reshape your outlook. No human sorrow can compare to the deliverance I am preparing for those who trust in me. Look up, not around. Seek with eyes that grasp my eternal view. Prepare to receive secrets meant for you in these crucial times. From this heavenly vantage, you will see that you are under my protection because I have chosen you, wanting you near me always. Through time and beyond, our bond is unbreakable. Whatever tries to pull you down these difficult conditions, seemingly permanent and invincible, will soon crumble before my power and intervention. Let fear be silenced. Strive not against mere worldly adversaries that appear to overshadow my light. Let go of what seems unmoving and allow comfort and awe to flow within you from the knowledge of my presence. Surrender to it. Let it warm and strengthen you. You are mine, wrapped in a covenant that cancels curses, defeats evil, and secures you in my kindness and favor. Stand firm in this truth. The worst assaults against you will become the very momentum that lifts you into what I have prepared. Look through the opening that is even now emerging and see the peace lying beyond the conflict, a place designed for you alone, a realm of calm and joy where you will never again feel cornered. There, in my approval, you will lack nothing, never again accepting second best. Soon, that moment will arrive, bearing countless blessings for you to share in that land of abundance, where every good thing is yours to enjoy. You will not feel confined. Out of my fervent, burning love for you, I speak again. when terrors swirl around and hope seems gone, pause and consider, would I ever abandon one I love? My ways and thoughts are as high above yours as the starry skies tower above the earth. Yet I have chosen you. My promise binds me to you for eternity. Together, forever, we share this unbreakable bond, protected by my pledge that conquers all curses. My child, share this message of love and encouragement with someone in need. Let my words be a shining beacon of hope in their life. Amen. The words you've heard today are not just for this moment. They are a beacon for the days ahead. The time is short, the stakes are high, and you have been called to step boldly into a life of purpose and truth. Remember, you're never alone. You are part of something far greater than yourself, and you are deeply loved and cherished beyond measure. If this message has touched your heart, don't let it stop here. Subscribe now and join us again as we dive deeper into the truths that strengthen your faith, bring hope to your spirit, and prepare you for the incredible journey ahead. Share this message with someone who needs encouragement, someone searching for light in these challenging times, and let them know they are not alone. Come back often. This is your sanctuary, your place of renewal and inspiration. Together, we will walk this path, uncovering the mysteries of faith and standing strong in the purpose you've been called to fulfill. Until next time, stay steadfast in faith, walk boldly in truth, and never forget, you were chosen for such a time as this. Amen.